Good morning, everyone. Aaron with Grizzly Wood Services. This morning we're going to do a quick 10-hour review of the Wolfe 35 high output. I had a viewer, Andrew, who advised me that he ordered a SHO, request a review of it, so we're going to run it a little bit and talk about a few of the features and what I found that I liked, maybe what I found what I didn't like, not a whole lot there, and give it a go. See you guys in a few. Alright, so here we have it. This is my Wolfe 35 high output. A couple of the optional extras, at least on this one. I've got the steel fenders. You can see there I've got the electric start. Now this one, because I'm not trailering, but towing it behind me a lot, I did opt for the light package, which gives you trailering lights, brake lights. This is one of the newer ones that has the folding log lift. Now back around to this side. This one is about as close to a 35 super high output as you can get without actually ordering a super high output. Basically the only difference between that one and mine is that I have the Honda GX 390. So I've got the top mounted fuel tank on the engine itself, and just a smaller single piston or single cylinder engine. Beyond that, virtually everything else is the same. I do have the four-way splitter on there right now, and just sitting on the ground there I've got a six-way splitter as well. Now this one does have the Galtech valves. It's got auto cycle valve. I have not had any of the issues that other people have been having with it so far. At this time I only had one hiccup where the pusher and the auto cycle wouldn't act correctly, and it ended up being a malfunction in the dump valve, which a couple minutes on the phone with Chris we got it figured out, and I've yet to have any issues with it since then. I believe I ran about 3 hours after that total, so I'm right at my 10-hour mark, and I've already done the oil changes you guys saw in one of the other videos. Now one thing I did opt on this one is to get the optional work lights. Because I work after hours sometimes as well, I need the additional lighting, and I don't necessarily always have access to the generator or the homeowner's lighting. So it's, sorry about that. So it's pretty simple. There's actually a bracket welded on there that pins into place that holds the lights on there. Give me a second, I gotta tighten the GoPro up a little bit. Alright, there we go. And there's additional wiring, plugs in right down here to the power supply. Now on the high output, the auxiliary hydraulic fluid cooler is an option, and it can also be retrofitted. Chris has a nice kit for that basically this plate bolts on, and he sends you all the parts to mount it yourself if you choose to do so. On the super high output it's standard. I can tell you I've run this thing in sub 32 degree temperatures and have actually managed to get the fluid hot enough to kick in that hydraulic cooler, so I think it's actually a worthwhile upgrade. In order to get that, you do have to have the electric start set up. You also require electric start for the light tower as well, because you need that battery to power it, and your motor also recharges the battery on that. So if you're thinking about those upgrades, it's definitely something you're going to have to get. The hydraulic cooler was installed at the dealer, so I'm not sure if the extra wrap on the hoses was just missing, but I ended up having to add a little bit on this corner here. Beyond that, it's, you know, there's very little difference between the super high output and the high output that I've found. In terms of wear goes, you can see, you know, 10 hours, that's about the amount of wear I've gotten on the powder coating. And you know, I do not tarp this, and it does not sit under a awning or a roof or anything at this time. Hopefully once it dries out and I have enough time to mess with my wood shed, I can extend the roof line on it. I have found that I have gotten a little bit of leading edge deformation on the single wedge, but that has to do with the contact points between your 4-way and your 6-way and this leading edge. It's not an issue. I talked to Chris, he said it's pretty standard. I also talked to Back 40 and a few of the other guys, and they said they've really not seen much, but they haven't paid much attention to it. You can dress up that leading edge if you need to, but I have not found any issues with it beyond that. Even though I've busted up a few logs that, you know, with a single push, the 35 tons wasn't quite enough. So if you find you run into something like that, shift your log around, readdress it, and take smaller chunks, and then once you get the smaller chunks, you can actually split it where you were intending on splitting it. But I'm gonna fire this thing up and we'll run it through a few cycles, and hope you guys enjoy. Any of you guys that have watched any of Chris's recent videos, you may have seen his video where he talks about the Galtech valves. My machine runs those. I've not experienced any issues directly with the valve itself, but here I'm just running through the cycles to double check and make sure that I've not experienced the issues that he was talking about, or the issue that Phil over at Flat Creek Farms has been having with his. If you guys watch his channel, he's got his dialed in, and I am still not seeing any issues on mine. But it never hurts to double check and make sure. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Trying to get you guys a look at that leading edge deformation, which is fairly minimal at this point because it's all balanced up. But you can see a slight blue line where it's not worn, but I have to turn you sideways here. You can see it's still pretty close to the factory edge. Chris says you want about a little bit more than maybe a 1/16 of an inch along that edge, so it's still within what he says. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I've got no major complaints, and the few issues I have had were pretty much taken care of right away, and I haven't had any hiccups since. So if you guys have any more questions or you want a little bit more detail on anything, just leave me a message, send me an email. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can, and hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and be kind to one another, especially everything going on these days. Have a good day. Bye.